So in recent years, we've seen more and more controversial for the clicks material or shock material showing up on our social media screens and content creator platforms. We've all seen the videos. People dropping slurs, getting fake discriminated against, or being denied service type videos. You know, those staged, unhinged interactions, or these embracing moments. Uploaded and presented by the creator as real. Because they're real interactions after all. Then there's other extremes such as doctored footage, fake footage, and even deep fakes used to discredit or slander a person or a group of people. More recently, a lot of material from trad life and woke world vloggers seems to be becoming more and more common, while reaching higher and higher levels of cringe because, yay, we love a good bit of cringe.
Trad wives also believe that they should submit to their husbands and serve their husbands and family.
What is up with the universe?
And as people are doing all these crazy pranks, these stunts, they play stupid games for stupid prizes, and scams after all, then they find out the hard way. Other shock material on the rise is the use of deep fakes, as I already mentioned, and other defamatory misusage of AI to disrupt media and traditional news sources. This is all happening in a world where breaking news can be spread around the globe in minutes or hours, and a viral video can capture the world's attention for better or for worse. Is this shock material a new thing? Short answer, like most of these topics, no. No, it is not new. It is once again just the same old sensationalist content rebranded with new buzzwords and popular culture references. Longer answer is this is a modern example of people who choose infamy after failing to achieve fame.
Infamy! Infamy! They've all got it in for me!
Or intentionally seeking to spread misinformation to a large group of people, whether it's a nation's population or a person of interest's fan base, or even their own personal fan base.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
In the case of trad life vloggers, we had the family vloggers that were just as shameless. Before woke world vloggers, we had democratic socialist vloggers making mountains out of molehills, with actors on both sides performing the same oldies and greatest hits for the fans that tend to stick to far right or far left information sources. In the case of crazy pranks or stunts by people on social media, we've sort of always had some kind of prank show or prank trend, and we used to put them on national TV after all, if you can remember that.
What's she doing?
No! No!
Did you know about this?
And with stunts and pranks by random people, they have untold consequences. At best, they get a laugh, but usually at the expense of someone else, with a potential to cause disastrous results. Most notably, psychological harm or physical abuse. The abuser then spreads across the internet for personal gain. When it comes to shock value on social media, one could argue this is only used to highlight how unshamedly stupid and small-minded some people really are. As for intentionally disruptive media such as deepfakes or false information campaigns, we've seen it lead to election interference, economic damage, and protests being manipulated by bad faith actors. Truth is, we can pretty much point to any era of culture where free speech and or freedom of the press existed and find examples of this kind of behaviour taking place in different public forums. It is just that nowadays, living in the information age where news can literally travel at the speed of light via optical cables and other communications infrastructure, it has become a lot harder to ignore the crazy guy shouting about the doom from the walls of the Temple or Forum.
Our universe is doomed! Doomed!
Thanks to predictive algorithms and other smart programs with the ability to identify patterns and habits of users, platforms like Daddy YouTube, hey Daddy,
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
have become far better at recommending any form of media it thinks you're more likely to engage with, even if you were previously unfamiliar with the content or the creator. While initially programmers intended this to be used for finding positive patterns and feedback loops for users, the sad truth is people are more likely to engage with negative patterns and feedback loops. This resulted in outrage media becoming more and more recommended over the years, and the content creators have merely adjusted to this to better the chances of their content being viewed. Does this have an effect on people? Yes. But the longer answer here is yes! Subjectively, it has always existed and is not a new stress factor on humanity or society in any way. However, the bingeability, is that even a real word? I'm keeping it in anyway. The bingeability of this content is sort of new and potentially can be really harmful one way or another. The fact that doom scrolling is a real thing and lets people get a little obsessed or carried away with the news cycles and world events, myself included, is one of these new stressors. It is largely a result of the sheer vast quantity of media sources at our literal fingertips today compared to the past that makes this a new stressor. However, it is something that we are already adapting to and getting out ahead of. For example, some nations have taken to banning the sharing of news on social media platforms. There are services that you can use to better help you identify if a source has a bias so you can cross-reference. Also, with media literacy and reading comprehension are very relevant parts of education, and so much more. The biggest and newest issue or effect these kinds of media trends impose upon us today is how it has aided the spread of misinformation, which in and of itself is nothing really new, as it has always been an issue, but not to this degree. It has become such an issue that this year the World Economic Forums ranked misinformation as the most severe risk in the technology category and industry. And because of the previously mentioned news travelling at the speed of light, misinformation can reach a larger portion of the population overall, before the corrections can even be issued, or debunking can be made to counter it. You know all those fact checkers that you usually see? Yeah, they always come later, after the damage is already done. You see the problem? There are two major ways this occurs. The most mundane way is that incomplete information is provided by a credible source and is presented transparently as incomplete, and speculative by the experts and or the primary source. That causes conflict of opinion in the general reader. Typically, someone that is reporting on this second or third hand had something get lost in translation and reports these incomplete or speculative findings as hard facts to the general public. When or if a correction or a greater explanation is provided, it does little to fix this, as the damage has already been done.
What a story. I can't wait to embellish it.
And a certain percentage of the population will refuse to accept the corrections. After all, guys, there are still people who believe the world is flat. Examples of this kind of mix-up exist all over history. The Martian canals being confirmed waterways used by the Martians. The super collider at CERN could erase our universe by making another Big Bang, and so on. The more maliciously destructive way of spreading misinformation takes many of the same elements, but it is done with the intention or an agenda. Such as when you take incomplete or speculative information, or just make something up if you're a really good storyteller, or your followers are gullible enough to buy it.
They're eating the dogs.
and report on it like it is hard fact and truth of reality. Then you take a whole bunch of current social and geopolitical concerns or fears and rage bait or fearmonger the hell out of everyone. Governments are quite good at doing that, by the way. And after that, you back it up with some of this incomplete information presented as evidence, typically in the form of quote mining. And finally release it like the proverbial turd it is and hope it gets picked up on someone else's shoe and then spread all over the place. Now that's a nice image for you, isn't it? And then let someone else start the cleanup process. Examples of this are opinion-based discussion dressed up like news reports, expert advice or debates used as a way to hammer the same points and re-trigger the targeted demographic. Sensationalist news programs and outlets who are supposed to be reporting on statistics or events asking their guests for comments and opinions when they are known to be politically biased. Thankfully, a far rarer form of information today is disinformation, when a government, company or other large body representative deliberately lies to the public in the form of propaganda. However, as Western politics becomes more and more tribal, sensationalised and bipartisan, we are seeing glimpses of hack politicians and people in positions of authority more willing to use disinformation to sway the public's opinion. I'm sure you've seen this time and time again in your own politics.
They're eating the cats.
It is not only your friendly YouTube vlogger, social media personality, news anchor you have to look out for, but also lawmakers. Yay! The people we thought we could trust, right? And yes, I know what you're thinking, but Jay, it's only the other team that does that, right? Wrong. Just like Arnold said, you're wrong. 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 You may recall, as I already mentioned earlier, this is not new. It is not a new social stressor on humanity or society. And just about everyone is trained to some degree to do this at some point in their lifetime based on their environment. We just hope that the vast majority of it is isolated to childhood behaviour and done over socially irrelevant issues. And while most adults do learn how to use basic control skills, and why their worldview may not always be correct by the time they have some kind of minor control of their environment, there has been and likely always will be a small portion of the adults that are, for lack of a better term, maladjusted? Maladjusted? I think that's a okay term to use, right? It is this kind of person that will be most likely to seek attention through infamy and shock value content by design, not coincidence. The content is intended to trigger the viewer regardless of the viewer's own worldview. If it makes you mad and sounds like a call to arms from someone like you, or if it makes you mad and sounds like someone or something you have to actually stand against, the content did its job in engaging you. And likely you will start spreading it. One of the biggest points of these clickbait or shock value trends and issues that seem to be getting worse or more prevalent is to become the next big thing. But in a world of social media platforms being the person to make that next big thing, it is a total gamble. Unless you're willing to say some really, really crazy things.
That turn the friggin' frogs gay! Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay! Serious crap!
And circle right back to the recent trend of for the clicks or shock value vlogging. These are the people trying too hard and usually not believing in their own BS at the same time to get attention. Their 15 minutes of fame and maybe, just maybe, a big payday. What is most harmful about them is they also both hurt mostly legitimate issues and outlooks by doing really stupid crap in a really public place, thinking that is all it will take to get attention. So how do we stop or avoid this? You know that old saying, just don't look.
Just don't look. Just don't look.
The more selective you are about the kinds of media in your media diet you consume via social media platforms, the less likely you are to see that kind of content in the majority of the recommended content, unless the algorithms become more nefarious. Now note, there are also periodic recommendations to give you the, hey, remember me, over here, look at me. Yeah, I hopefully have appeared over in the side screen at one point. So you will still see them now and again. Sorry, nothing you can do about that.
For now.
Learn to look at YouTube content as entertainment and opinion videos, and do as much of your own research into topics you want to know more about by using primary sources presented directly by the material referenced in the summary or article. Go to sites to read a report and cross-reference on other sites too. Getting all your news from one source is never a great idea. If someone is flashing a lot of long quotes at you and only leaving them on screen for a second or two, and or are using very long quotes but only using less than half a sentence, pause and read the whole quote. A lot of times it will debunk the claim they are trying to make with that very quote.
Little old Coolsville can solve its problems without us.
I didn't say that.
And I guess
little
old cool
I did,
will have
but
to.
that's out of
Just Heather
context.
Jasper.
Also, if you're that kind of person that does really get triggered by opposing viewpoints, I really recommend avoiding those response to videos, as they will add videos to the opposing viewpoint to your recommendations. Finally, and this can be quite challenging to people in the case of opposing viewpoints, be willing to hear out the opposing argument, within reason. If you're unwilling to change your opinion, should a valid opposing one be made, you're unintentionally doing the same that sensationalists are trying to make you do, and doubt facts on reality you do not necessarily like. I hope this information serves you well, my dear unicorn. Until next time, take care. Hello my lovely unicorns, and thank you for dropping by today. I've been your lovely friend Jay, and if you want to see more of me in the future, and if you have not already, then feel free to smash that subscribe button. If you like the episode, feel free to like it, and feel free to comment so I get to know your mind. And also, if you do get time, feel free to share it to your communities, such as your Discord communities, your WhatsApp communities, whoever you deem is worthy. But until next time guys, keep all that love in your heart and spread it out to all those, because God knows this world definitely needs it. Until then, I've been your friend Jay, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.